But what I would like to talk to you today is about, it doesn't matter whether you call them the Nazis or the Cabal or the Illuminati, New World Order, or whatever, or I just usually call them the dark side. But there's a big movement to get us to eat other humans. And I heard some military men today talking about what they're doing, because Cargill is the main company. They have 3 processing plants in America. One of them is over here in Minnesota. And they take the children and process the bodies into food and put it into the hamburger meat. And in the My Labs, they have these very large tanks. And basically, when they're finished gang raping the children and killing them, then they basically just throw the bodies into the tanks, and then they're processed with other chemicals into like a paste. And then that paste is taken to the plants, and there's 13 executives from Cargill that are heavily involved. I mean, not just processing the children's bodies into food, but they also have a very long history of raping children. Because these type of men just absolutely love to have sex with children. And, well, in their mind they call it sex, but we call it rape. You know, they feel very powerful when they have especially a 4, 5, or 6-year-old girl or boy drugged, and they feel very powerful when they're killing these children. And this one little girl that I met, she was in heaven when I met her, but we had done some energy work and healing for her while she was still here, named Jaquanda from Houston, Texas. And she was a little 13-year-old African-American girl, just a beautiful, beautiful girl. She was targeted because she has large breasts, and she was raped 712 times before they killed her. It was the 712th man that choked her to death during rape. And that's that's not really normal, because most of these children are raped between, let's say, anywhere from between 50 and 200 times each. You know, because they use their special drugs and their special means, and they have this energy. I don't know, I would call it a weapon, but they can make a man have a very, very hard erection that will last for hours without the need for drugs. And because of the manipulation, and that way they can murder more children. But Cargill, as of today, Super Bowl Sunday, 13,917 children have been put into the Cargill meat supply. Now, I've talked about this before, because a lot of these children were Mexican children, and Mexican children are prime target, and so are African children and Asian children. Those are the three biggest groups that are targeted. 60% of all these children came from Mexico, and 60% of the meat that was processed has gone to Mexico. But now, over the past few months, 40% of this meat, of the 13,917 children, has stayed here in America. And what happens is because 99% of Americans have eaten human, and there is a big movement for that. Like I said, the Nazis, I call them the Nazis or the dark side or whatever, because it affects our energy fields. It's not natural for humans to eat other humans. And there are specific energies that are created. Like vegetarians, if someone only eats vegetarian food, plants, there's an energy associated with that. And then with somebody like me, I eat meat and, plants, mostly turkey and chicken. And then there's an energy with that because I eat other animals. But then there's a different type of energy when humans eat other humans. And it's just not so it really affects our energy field. And what they're doing now with the children, the 40% of the meat, like I heard, it was an army man. I overheard an army man talking about how that, and then by the way, I went back and verified. I started checking people's DNA. I went to the CEO of Cargill, looked at his DNA, and then verified. But he was talking about how 13 states in the western part of America, south and west, are now serving human children that are gang raped and two other school children. And the western states are California, Oregon, Washington, Montana, Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, Texas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, Alabama, and Mississippi. And also, there's another way that Americans have been eating humans, and that's in soda. And this is a really big difference between Republicans and Democrats. Republicans don't like abortion because they're running child trafficking, and they like children to be born so they can gang rape them and murder them later. Democrats like abortion because they can sell the aborted fetuses to soda companies, including PepsiCo. Pepsi and 3 other soda companies are putting the embryos, I think they're called embryos, aren't they? Anyway, whatever's left over from an abortion, they take that and they process it and they put it into the soda. And, you know, I checked my own DNA and I pulled it up, and I think it was 3 times that I've eaten, you know, unknowingly, because most of us are doing this unknowingly, except for the reptilians. They, you know, but one was 14 years ago when I was just bought meat in the store, and when I worked for the Allen County Fraternal Order of Police, one of the volunteers served human hamburgers for dinner that night. And I wondered about it because it tasted really weird. And it's funny because these people were really rich, but they would, when they go out to buy food for dinner for everybody, they spend like the 99-cent hamburger product, like fake hamburger meat. People make $60, $70, $100,000 a year. I'm going to take you to dinner. I'm going to spend 50 cents. Of course, most Americans are like that. And I'm sorry, I'm just really bitter. And so, I'm going to go back and do my report separate for this weekend because they had a big Super Bowl party, and many children were gang raped this weekend. And but I just wanted to let you know about Cargill, and 13,917 children have now been put into Cargill's hamburger meat supply. Thank you. I hope you had a nice.
I'm at the Cargill website, cargill.com, and they are the world's leading supplier of human meat in our food. This is the executive team, the executive officers of Cargill. David McLennan, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer. Leanne Baker, Human Resources. David Dines, Kathy Fortman, Todd Hall. And here are the others. Joe Stone, Animal Nutrition. Frank Van Leerd, Food and Bio Industrial Ingredients. Yeah, I bet. Here's something interesting. Go over to their meat and poultry site, or their page. Product overview. North America, Europe, Asia. Ooh, their human products go worldwide. Here's an interesting one. Cargill and McDonald's verify sustainable beef in Canada. Yeah, I bet. And let's see. Beef with a story. There's one. See if I can bring this over. I could see it down here. Beef with a story. I'll bet it has a story. And check this out. This is the Cargill groundbeef.com. They don't put everything on the same corporate site. They have many different sites for their different products with the same logo. Cargill ground beef. Now I know you're going to freak out because you're going to recognize a lot of the products you probably see in your stores here. Check this out. How many have you seen this in your stores? Ground beef. This is the kind of packaging they use to sell their human processed meats. Probably the same ones they put in their McDonald's patties. Some more of their brands. Sterling Silver, Angus Pride, Blackwell Angus, Genuine Texas Beef, and Certified Angus beef. And over here, look, they specialize in hamburger meat. This is the Elvis Presley burgers. Oh, look, you can even have it in meatballs. Oh, this is just sick. Ground beef recipes. I think I'll pass. And let's look at this one, folks. Shocking human meat found in McDonald's meat factory. This is from Lifestyle Tips at lifestyletips.net. And this is from GMA Morning Stir. Behind the scenes at McDonald's fast food giant reveals its secrets. Well, that's pretty nasty. Human meat found in McDonald's meat factory. Inspectors have found human meat and horse meat in the freezers of an Oklahoma City McDonald's meat factory. Human meat was also recovered in several trucks that were on their way to deliver the patties to the restaurants. According to various reports, authorities have inspected factories and restaurants across the country and have found human meat in 90% of the locations. Horse meat was found in 65% of the locations, FBI agent Lloyd Harrison told Hustler reporters. The worst part is that it's not only human meat, it's child meat. The body parts were found across the U.S. factories and were deemed too small to be adult body parts. This is truly horrible, it says. As far as cannibalism goes, it originated thousands of years ago, and blah, blah, blah. Folks, this is crazy. This isn't the first time we've run across stories of human meat being found in McDonald's food. Tory Smith reveals it's Cargill in Minnesota, which supplies all these restaurants, and I'll get more into that here in a little bit. And I just want to talk about this blog spot for a minute. It's splitting my thoughts into two. And he talks about the recent McDonald's scandal. Expose, McDonald's using human meat. McDonald's is in viral news again, this time for using human meat. Bring it down here if I can. Let's see. We all know McDonald's foods are not healthy, but we all neglect to absorb it. Its history is not a good one either. Fast food restaurants are known to have a considerable measure of secret ingredients. However, this tops the rundown. On and off, it's been peddling in the social medias for quite a long time now. Rumors about McDonald's restaurants utilizing worms as filler within their 100% hamburger cheeseburgers. Recently, true reports of some retail networks being distributed food products tainted with horse meat because of issues with supplies have been the premise for wild and yet somehow apparently trustworthy claims. An Oklahoma City McDonald's outlet was caught with stallion meat and human meat in their coolers. Inspectors have purportedly discovered human meat in the coolers of Oklahoma City McDonald's meat plant. The same stuff was recovered in several trucks that were on their way to deliver the patties to the fast food restaurants. Based on various reports, authorities have inspected U.S. factories and restaurants across the country and have discovered 90% of the area with human meat. 65% of the locations was found with horse meat. The worst part of the alleged news was that it's not only human meat, it's child meat. A detailing disturbing audio interview to a man named Rabbi Finkelstein came out, claiming McDonald's uses human meat as a filler in their 100% beef hamburgers. Hearing the interview was horrifying. Rabbi Finkelstein admits to blood-draining sacrifices linked to missing children and where their remains were brought. He tells a story of their seemingly dark tradition of blood sacrifice that has been going on for thousands and thousands of years. He said, "We take the children of the enemy, which is the white race. We bring them to the basements of the synagogues where we drain them, similar to kosher butchering. Then we send them off to the meat grinders, where they end up in the McDonald's hamburgers and sausages." Weird news that McDonald's scandals were around for quite some time now. To name a few are the burger and fries that don't rot, recently the horse meat next to the mysterious pink slime, and now human meat, which I think is the worst of all. I'm aware that cannibalism has gone back tens of thousands of years ago, and it still exists today in some parts of the world. A few tribes still believe in eating human flesh as a cultural practice, but serving it to unsuspecting people who don't have the same culture as theirs and selling it to public consumers is not a joke. It is very upsetting and alarming. Human meat. This is lab-tested human meat from McDonald's. This was McDonald's meat test. I remember seeing that story a couple years ago. This is the pink slime. And you've probably heard of the Soylent Green, which is just another code term for human meat. At the Daily Buzz live site, folks, McDonald's contains human flesh. More about the story. McDonald's contains human flesh. Disturbing audio admission. There's a very disturbing audio interview between James Wickstrom and Rabbi Finkelstein concerning the practices of the meat used at McDonald's. It goes on to say, Rabbi Finkelstein has no problem telling the interviewer, "You are eating your children every day. What kind of disturbing, sick world do we live in where this would be acceptable to even one human being?" And I want to play this interview.
I have a guest by the name of Rabbi A.B. Finkelstein. He's off the east coast of the United States, who's going to be joining me tonight. Rabbi A.B. Finkelstein, as I said, a rabbi off the east coast of the United States. Are you there with me tonight?
Shalom, I am here.
There's a lot of rumors and conjecture that's taking place across this country relating to the Jewish population, okay?
Okay.
The masses have a hard time believing anything.
Well, we've done a great brainwashing job on them over the centuries, and especially the last few hundred years. We've just brainwashed them completely. They believe anything we tell them. And, in the meantime, we have a lot of fun around Passover where we steal the children. I mean, we steal 100 to 300,000 children a year just here in this country, and we drain their blood and we mix it with the Passover bread, and then we throw the bodies into the slaughterhouses that we own, and we grind up all the bodies in the sausage and the hamburger. McDonald's is one of our favorite outlets, and the people, they eat them for breakfast, they eat their children for lunch, and, as Jews, we gotta do what we do. It's over for you white race. So that's why I'm speaking so honestly here, to bring it out into the open so that you can see it for what it is. You've been teaching the people real good, but they don't wake up, do they? Because you know why? They're scared of us Jews, because they don't want to be called anti-Semites, and they believe that we're the chosen people, and so that's why we can do whatever we want to do, and we can get away with it because the white men are cowards, and we go to the synagogue all the time and have some Manischewitz and dance the Hava Nagila.
It's not that you Jews are hiding anything. You're coming right out on television, in the newspapers, on the radio, and you're telling the people exactly what you're going to do before you do it, and they're like they're brain dead.
Well, we did a good job with the public school system. We got you to put all of your children in there. You notice that the Jew doesn't put his children in there. They go to the Hebrew Academy where we teach them the real things, and then they go to the synagogue and they learn the real important things. But we send your kids to the public school. We even have you tax yourself from your property so that you never own your property. And so if you don't make your property tax, we're going to take your property. You can bet on that. And we have you put your kid in a 12-year babysitting is about all it does, because you don't learn anything. And then by that time, the kids, they get to be teenagers, and then we give them the music. Not that we really want to call it music, because, oy vey, that's not music. But they listen to that, and then they want to do what they want to do, and so we sell them drugs, and we make a lot of money off your children. Your children from cradle to grave, all we do is make money off of them. Your cattle, your goyim, the human cattle. Mazel tov.
Well, that's very interesting. I understand it, but I also know the bloodletting. I know that on your Passover, which isn't mine, that a lot of little children do disappear, and I do know that, and I know a lot of police departments and agencies have been informed, but You're very open. You're very open tonight. I'm very surprised that you're talking about the bloodletting of the little children, that you put their blood in the matzo balls, and that you eat it on sacrifice on Passover.
Well, there was a goyim that wrote a book about it back in the 30s. I forget his name at the moment. But anyway, he wrote the book. People didn't buy the book. People don't want to listen. We've been doing this for thousands and thousands of years, since down to Adam's time. We take the children of our enemy, which is the white race, and we bring them to the basements in the synagogues, where we drain the blood and watch them die there. It's very similar to how we do the sacrifices that we do with the kosher butchering, and so we do that, and then we mix it with the Passover bread, and so we eat the blood of our enemies. And the bodies, we're not cannibals, so what we do is we take those, because we can make some shekels, and we give them to the slaughterhouses, and those are pounds and pounds and pounds of meat that we grind up in the sausage and the hamburger, and that's why we made those the most popular things, sausage for breakfast and hamburger for lunch. And so all the goyim out here are really eating their children. And even when we say this outright and tell you people, you don't believe it. So that's your problem. But you goyim out there, you never teach yourself. You don't self-teach. You're always looking for somebody else to do it for you. So you wind up being schleppers all your life.